Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Accent Training Podcast. My name is Pat, your personal American accent coach. And today I'd like to talk about how you can sound a little less stressed, a little less angry, even a little bit less disrespectful or aggressive in English. Sometimes it's appropriate to sound like those things. It's appropriate to be impatient now and then. A bit of a disrespectful tone can help you voice disdain for the things that you're seeing. But it's important to only communicate that when it's appropriate, and to control that sound when it is not appropriate. So what we're going to do is over the next 3 episodes, I'm going to help you solve this problem. This first episode is to make you aware of the fact that there is a problem, that you are able to overcome it, and I'm going to show you how. The following episode is going to give you a few exercises to practice so you can start to get the hang of this for yourself, and then the episode after that, we'll talk about 4 key idiomatic expressions, and I'll give you a few exercises to help you adapt them to your natural daily English speaking. So let's kick off this first lesson. Here's what we're talking about. When you pronounce T with force, ending words too often, Americans consider your tone to sound impatient or aggressive, possibly even disrespectful or rude. This is because, to American ears, it sounds condescending or patronizing to enunciate every letter when speaking. People feel like you're talking to them as if they're a child, or as if you think they're stupid. And we certainly don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. So the point is, if you aren't aware of this and you don't control it, you will never be sure whether your words are interpreted as intended. So why is this happening in the first place? Well, it's likely that you're trying to be clear with your communication. And so you're pronouncing every letter to see that your message lands as intended. It may also be a speech habit from your native language, which mixes in with your English speech. Whatever the reason, it is within your power to change this habit and to strengthen your communication if you want to. So I'm going to tell you what to do to reduce that T sound, to stop it so it isn't so strong, and give you a few clear examples on how you can change this. Now, T isn't always stopped at the end of a word. Sometimes we pronounce a regular T, like the word connect, podcast. I pronounce my T ending those words. However, if a word ends in the letters N and T, N and T, NT, words like want, can't, amount, sent, important. Pronouncing a true T may come across awkwardly stressed. You will not be controlling the quality of your communication. Americans stress that T if they want to add emphasis to the word, but they don't usually pronounce it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to stop that T to control your stress. I'm going to show you a couple examples of this in action. And then I want you to keep an eye open for episode number 172, where we're going to do a few muscle memory exercises to practice this. So 3 steps to stop your T with those word endings. Step number 1. I'd like to hear you make the sound uh-oh. Let's hear it. Uh-oh. When you say uh-oh, You are using your glottis, a muscle in your throat, to stop the sound in the middle. Uh-oh. We use that same glottal stop when we are making final stop T sounds. So take the word went, for example. Went. When I pronounce this, my tongue does go into that position for the T or for the N. I put the tip of my tongue to the bump behind my teeth, but I do not release the sound. So that's step number 1. Stop the sound with your glottis. Step number 2 is that we pronounce N short and quick. I'm not saying when, but I'm stopping the sound abruptly at the ending of it. Went. Step number 3 is that I'm slightly raising my tone of voice at the ending of the word. Went, when. Notice that with the first one, the sound stops abruptly, my tone raises, and with the second, it fades away on the end sound. Went, when. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, I can get it, kind of, but you might think it feels a little bit weird. That's okay. I'd like you to do a brief exercise with me right now. We're going to feel the difference between words that have this glottal stop T and words that trail off on the N. Repeat after me. Went, when. Bent, ben. Meant, men. Not bad, my friend, not bad. You're starting to get it. Now, I want you to see the most value for your time spent practicing this. What that's going to mean is that moving forward, we are going to be hyper-focused on one specific use of this. Because, as you know, if we focus on one specific area very closely, you will see much more progress than if you try to cover everything at once. If you try to learn every use of the glottal stop, every use of the final stop T's all at once, you will likely not learn very much. You may even learn nothing, and you may waste your time. I don't want to waste your time. For that reason, our next podcast episode is going to be hyper-focused on words that contract with an auxiliary verb and not, such as can, not, sounding like can't, should, not, sounding like shouldn't, would, not, wouldn't, could, not, couldn't. Every one of those examples is a negative context, of course. If you are overly pronouncing the stress in a negative context, you're more likely to sound impatient or angry. And again, this is something that you can overcome. So now that you've got the basics of this muscle memory, check out the next episode. We're going to talk about how you can confidently contract an auxiliary verb with the word not, to empower your communication skills with a little more control. Now, I know that some of you are listening to this episode on the very same day that it came out, and so there may not be an episode number 172 yet. But don't worry, by the time you're hearing this, I've already got it recorded. I've just got to do a little editing, and I'll have it available for you soon. Have a good one, folks.